All right. I show 7 o'clock, so we'll call this meeting to order and let the record show that all members are present. At this time, we'll stand and do the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Okay. Everybody's been provided a copy of the minutes from our last meeting. Does anybody have any additions or corrections? If not, we'll let those stand as presented. Mrs. Browning, do you have claims to present?
I would like to make a motion to approve all claims and payrolls as submitted.
A motion to approve the claims. I have a second from Mr. Omer. Does anybody have any questions regarding the claims and payrolls? If not, all in favor, raise your right hand. 7-0. Looks like we have some donations to approve.
I would like to recommend the board formally accept the following donations. We had the class of 71 reunion and their legacy fund. They're contributing $5,000 to the primary school playground enhancement, $3,000 to exploration field trips, $1,500 to agricultural education expansion, $1,000 to Hatchet robotics team, $500 for our cap and gown assistance program. We had a couple of anonymous donations, $500 for the high ability curriculum and $500 for the junior high incentive program.
All right, I have a recommendation to approve these donations. I have a motion for that. Mr. Cornelius, second from Mrs. Browning. Anybody have any questions on the donations other than many thanks? If not, all in favor? 7-0. Okay, we're gonna skip down now to our patron statements on agenda topics. Do we have anybody signed up for that? If not, then we're gonna go a little off script for the sake of Mr. Omer being able to get to the volleyball game tonight. So we're gonna jump down to new business and item 3 on new business, which is the approval of a contract on the baseball and softball field turf project.
So I'm recommending the board approve the sprint turf proposal. It's attached there on your digital agenda. There's some components to it. There's a base bid part. I just want to make clear that base bid comes in at $519,525. We're tax exempt, so that's a deduct on what's listed there. The geotech, the alternate number 5, that's the work. They have to go out and complete that investigation of the soil and the survey that's needed. So that part's $43,510. And then it's highly suggested, and it seems to make sense, that we would purchase alternate 7, which they call them the panels, and it's basically a set of the field turf areas of the baseball and softball fields that get worn down. And the idea is you're purchasing those when your field is created so that it's perfect match. And as those areas wear down over the years, you have your replacements ready for them to come back, and essentially it's like sewing them into place. So that's $6,000. So that would be a proposal of $569,035.
All right.
Can you just maybe clarify the name of the company? Because what's on here, I think it might be different than the name you said, Mr.
Sprint turf.
Okay, this one says field turf. The agenda.
Oh, that was just referencing that we're getting field turf.
Okay.
Yes, yes.
Oh, I see the confusion.
Yeah.
Because there is a company
Yeah.
involved that says yes.
Okay, yes.
Yeah, no, you're good.
No,
Because that's a very fair point.
yeah, that was just wording. Yeah,
You use a little F.
I know, right? I guess I should have used a little.
Little F, little T.
Right, yeah.
All right. We have a recommendation to approve the sprint turf proposal for the turf contract. We have a motion for that. Mr. McCormick.
Make a motion.
Second from Mr. Cornelius. Open up the floor to comments and questions.
I'm gonna make a comment. So since we initially approved the deal, basically the sale of Allen Field, I was asked to join the finance campaign committee. And things that I thought were relevant for this situation that the board knows, but I thought it would be important to have on record. Just things like the reason that we started out doing the reason that they asked some of us to be on that campaign committee is because we agreed to a purchase, basically. The original plan with the Y was to do it on their current property, like all that, because Mr. Gabhart came in and told us, like, we're not trying to take your property, like, this is the plan. I think and I was not involved in all of that conversation, but once they dug into the project and got involved with the engineers and the architects and all the things, and they started talking about that space, I think it got a little deeper where they were like, it's gonna make more sense if we can shoot for the moon, if we're gonna do this project and do it right. It would be better for everybody if we could do it on the Allen Field space for a lot of different reasons. So that's when that conversation started, before they talked to anyone on the board, was, hey, why don't we just see if we can make this happen and what it would take to make that happen. So after the agreement, after we passed everything, they created this subcommittee, including myself, actually including Kyle as well, to help raise money, not because we're on the school board, just because we're business owners and involved in a lot of different things in the community. And my stepdad's on the other committee, and I got voluntold that I was going to be a part of it, which is great. And happy to do it, but it specifically was to raise money so that they could make the purchase from us. So we've all been going out knowing that we had an anonymous $1 million donor, which is amazing. That's amazing. That would match any gift at 10,000 or more that we could get towards this project. Obviously, not all that needs to come to this project. We're still raising money for the big project with the Y. But we went out into the community, specifically having conversations with people that we thought had connections to the school, to the baseball and softball program. And we were able to talk to some people that at first said no to the Y project, but loved the partnership and what was happening and the greater good in the school. And so one was an anonymous donation of $200,000, which is doubled because that's matched. That's a huge portion of obviously the $750,000. We had several $40,000 donations, $50,000 donations. We were able to go back into the community, and people wanted to be a part of it because they had some sort of connection with the school and the baseball program and all that. So I just wanted to make that clear as far as how that connection happened and how we got to the point, how I got involved and how Kyle got involved, not just on the school board, but from the Y perspective, because I think it's important to know why we're doing this project and not other projects. So I just thought I would throw that out there to clarify.
And if it's okay if maybe I could add from back with the initial conversations when Nathan Gabhart and Al Bublo approached us and talked to Mr. Frank and I, and they made it clear that they did not want the school to lose out on anything as a result of this project. They wanted it to be a benefit for both the school and both the YMCA, that by the YMCA acquiring that property and being able to make their project so much better than what they had envisioned, they also wanted the school to see some benefit tied to the fact that we no longer had a baseball barn and a baseball field at Allen Field. So their intent and their ask at the time was, what do you guys need to be made whole so that your programs don't suffer? You don't lose out on practice time and other things. And the solution was to find a way that we could utilize the fields we already have without having to worry about the wear and tear on the infields and things like that. So, and see some improvements in our other things. So, you know, this has been a fast moving project and deal. And part of the idea is let's get things better for our baseball and softball programs as quick as we can, So maybe it's got lost in the conversation that the number that we arrived at was a number that we felt like, you know, as we've just put out the numbers that it's going to take to do this turf, you know, was the numbers that we felt like we could get the school in a much better situation, be a benefit for the entire community, because the community's kids come to our school. So, in my mind, and I guess as this thing all progressed, this has always been about the baseball and softball program. Kind of because that was the way it was presented to us originally. So that's, you know, something that I don't know that's been other than amongst ourselves. So I feel like the public ought to be aware of that too. And we're very grateful to the YMCA for taking that approach to it and being willing to see Washington Community Schools benefit as well. I think that's just amazing. I think it's a great partnership.
Well, I want to be known that every one of us have the heart of what's best for our kids, right? Like every one of us do. And I've talked to everybody around this table, I think today about this, but my struggle is, and I may stumble on my words, so just forgive me in advance, but I didn't know this information up front, or if I was told that it didn't register or something. I was not, when I talked to Miss Sarah today, but she told me that, and that was, I mean, that was kind of eye-opening. Like, I understand now that the people donating that money basically was saying, I want to donate it for the baseball. I didn't understand that at the time, or I didn't know that at the time. I think where I'm struggling was with the communication of that. I wished I would have known that, and it would have saved me a lot of heartburn the last 2 months, I'll be honest with you, because it's not been easy for me. I don't know how everybody else has been handling it, but I mean, like, it's like, I really do. Like, I really put time and effort into what we vote on and what we see, you know, so like that, I think, is my biggest struggles on how it was communicated to me or how it was relayed. I don't feel like I got the full relay on that. Does that make sense? And okay.
So I'll kind of piggyback off Garrett's there too. I felt like was kind of left out on things, didn't quite understand what was going on, didn't get the whole picture. Today I finally was able to talk to some people and got that picture clarified a lot better. I hope in the future, as we do these things, that we're better at communication and set more time down to make sure everyone does understand and give everyone a chance to talk. I know we had a couple discussions about this, but sometimes we ran out of time and we got to focus on the task at hand at that time. I also want to let the taxpayers know that we know that there's a lot of things in this system, this community, our school system, that needs attention and help, that we haven't forgot about that. We're working diligently to make sure that happens. The committee we put together 2 years ago, we have made good jumps and leaps and bounds on that. We still got a long way to go. But I don't want them to think we're jumping around, skipping on things like that, that we are trying to make that happen still. But this was just a unique situation that occurred that is a win-win for the Y and us both and the community. So
100% agree. This wasn't on anybody in this room's radar until May, when all of a sudden it was presented to us, more or less. This was, I'm not gonna say it wasn't 100%. We all knew that there were some things that could be improved at the baseball and softball area, but that wasn't one of our greatest needs. Today, probably it's up there, but it's not the number one thing that we need to spend money on, but the opportunity presented itself, if that, I think, is fair to say anyway. So yeah, I totally agree with you on that, and it needs to be known that we're not ignoring roofs or sidewalks or other things and just saying, now we're doing this. We were presented this opportunity because it was tied to that property and what that property meant to the community and the students.
Yeah, I want the community to know that it's not just sports, right? Like we
Right.
have bigger goals in mind that I think needs to be relayed, and knowing that that's on my forethought always.
And no money for this project is coming from our operations, our education, any of those, our rainy day, none of those funds.
That
They're coming from the sale of property.
that was, I'm glad, I forgot about that. That's something I would like to make sure we're spending the $570 something now, the latest 570, that going forward with, I understand we're not building the batting cage barn now, but the money that we'll have left over after the fields, I don't think will be enough to do the batting barn and that. I just wanted to make sure that we won't take money out of operations to fulfill it, like that will be fundraised for that particular cause.
100% agree. 100%.
I'm not gonna be a dead horse, you know, what they said, but, and again, I wasn't privy to the conversations initial between you guys and the why. But I think we need to, moving forward, if we're ever presented a scenario like this again, we may not be, but I think we gotta be careful saying we're gonna use this money to do a certain thing before we all agree on it, before we all approve the project. I mean, it's been a foregone conclusion, seems like for a couple of months, that we're gonna turf the fields, and we're just now approving that. Money was given specifically for the turf before we actually approved putting turf in. So that just seems a little a cart before the horse type deal. Maybe I'm looking at it wrong. I don't know, but I didn't realize that until I talked to Sarah today, that there was money actually given directly for the baseball, softball project. So, again, that's, you know, just something we need to be cautious with in the future, in my opinion. And I think you just answered my other question, that we're not approving anything with the batting barn tonight.
No, and to be honest, you know, part of what we approved, what was it, alternate 5, the geotech work. So part of the reason we're going ahead and spending the money for that, as that was a recommendation. If you'll remember back to Hatchet Hollow, we didn't do that before we did the turf field at Hatchet Hollow. And when they excavated it, they found a problem. We couldn't stabilize that grade at all. And that cost us a lot of our contingency fund. It cost us on our timeline because nobody was ready for it. We had to have it pause. They had to do testing to figure out what it took to fix it, get the materials, get it fixed. So we're trying to be proactive about that. But just because we spent that money and approved that doesn't mean there's not going to be a need for some more money for stabilization if they find a problem there. And I talked to Nick with Sprint Turf, and I apologize, I don't remember the other guy's name, but the amount of weight that is being added to that field to make it a turf field is kind of astounding. I deal with a lot of big stuff in farming, and that blew my mind how much weight they're adding to that. And you know, their comment is, you can't have any doubt that this is packed right, or you're going to end up looking like a quilt out there, because it's going to start doing this. You know, some areas going to sink a little bit here, and you know, I mean, that would be very bad on a football field, be terrible on a baseball field when you're trying to have a true roll of the ball going across or whatever. So no, we're not approving anything towards the barn because we're not sure that we don't need some more funds from that sale to complete this project at this point. And I want to be clear about that. If anybody didn't realize that, I want it out there, that there could still be some expense involved above what we are approving tonight based on what's needed. You know, One thing that's different about this probably than what we're doing with Mr. Mike back there and with Hagerman, this is not the type of project that we take the bids and there you are, that's what you're getting paid, get it done. This is, and I struggle with the design. Yours is a design build, right? This is a bid build or whatever, right? I got there somewhere anyway. So this is a different kind of project. We need to keep that money back for contingency until we see where we're at. Because at the end of the day, this is the priority in my mind, and that night is not just something that I think. This is coming from conversations with Mr. Cochran, with our coach, Austin Moody, about what's best for the baseball program moving forward. And a batting garden is high on their list of things that they need and want, but a good field's the first thing in there. So I think that's fair to say, and it's definitely something we want to be very clear about, that we don't even have an estimate, a drawing, or anything on a barn right now. I don't see it happening until this project is completed. So just to add in, the reason we are moving forward in somewhat of a quick fashion is both of these companies agreed if they were notified tomorrow, they got the contract, that these fields will be in this fall and we will play on them next spring. So by doing that, by next spring, we're going to know what money is left from the sale. And then we can start looking at, see if we need to fundraise, what it's going to take, to use the rest of that money towards a barn project. One other thing I just wanted to add, I know you all have a copy of it, but we were presented with just an estimate on maintenance costs from the fields that we have now. This is nothing to do with what it costs to maintain Allen Field, but Travis and Clay in our maintenance and fields came up with a number. I could break it down, but at the bottom line is they estimate that every year we're spending $10,400 on that field. So in a 10-year span with no adjustments on the two fields, correct. In a 10-year span with no adjustment for inflation, we're spending $104,000. Golly, math. So anyway, and then the other, and that's just the cost of materials. That's not adding the time. I recognize that there'll be some time that they'll need to run that machine over the turf, to maintain it. They're going to be in charge of making sure that those high wear areas last, because they do a good job of keeping the infill built up. That was part of the conversation we had with the company. But also, we're not going to be spending time at Allen Field doing any mowing or maintenance or anything like that. We're condensing down to just those two fields out there, and I think that does nothing but help the condition of every property that we own when we give those folks more time to work on our, what I call our premier properties.
So this is for the whole field, it's not just the infield that's being replaced, right?
My
For the
understanding,
entire field,
I'm sure. It's
right?
Yeah.
So it's not gonna be 100%
It may not be
savings,
100%.
right?
so trying to think if there was anything else I wanted to see brought up. Rob, yes.
I'm going to say this, state the obvious. I mean, we're here for academics and not athletics and all the ECAs. But having said that, the opportunity to provide our students, our kids with the opportunity to go out and play and be involved and keep busy and wear them out so they'll come home and sleep at night it's important. I think it goes hand in glove, so to speak. We're here for the academics, but these other things help the academics in the long run. And as I've looked at some of the emails and some of the things being shared from the Indiana School Boards Associations and some corporations looking to cut these opportunities in grades 1 through 8 as ways to save funding. I just think it's great. We take advantage of this opportunity and provide the kids as best we can. The academics and the opportunity to go out and brag on hitting the ball further than my brother did. Something of that nature.
Right. Right.
I would just like to add that I'm just grateful for our community, that we have such a giving community, that is twofold. It's the Y is coming in with a beautiful project that's going to do nothing but help everyone in our community, not just Washington students, neighboring schools, and families. And they're going to be able to do that with the land purchase of a property that we have, that really there's not much that goes on there other than trying to practice some. And, the upkeep of it is not great. It's just, they do what they can, but it's not really a playable surface for games. So in hand, with all those donations and giving of others for the Y project, that in turn helps the baseball project, because it's taken away something that the baseball team does use. Although it's not great, but it's what they had, and we made it work. Everybody made it work, but I think it's going to just enhance the overall mindset of our community by having an updated facility out there at the baseball field too. So I'm just, I want to thank all those people that are so willing and so giving and working hard to just make our community and our school better places, because that's what we all want.
Agreed. 100%. It's a great way to wrap it up, if that's okay with everybody else. Anybody else have any?
All right, these replacement panels, is that something that's on every week, or do they give them to us and we store them?
They come with it. So yes, we'll have them on hand. And the reason, or the way they explained that, I don't know the exact logic, but they were saying the first 8 years or so, plus you're in warranty. We have warranty on the field with them for the next 8 years, but for the next 8 years, they often recommend that you go ahead and buy now, because as with kind of any product like this, there's always going to be a little bit of difference in your materials. I gave Mr. Frank the example when I look at our grain bins, and the metal doesn't all look the same from the top to the bottom. It's because it's different gauges and it looks different. They said when you do need more panels down the road, they're not going to be an exact match. You buy these today, these are going to be exact match. They're going to fit. They're going to go right in. They told us that as long as we do a good job of maintaining the infill in those areas, so that the cleats are not getting down to the base of the fiber, that those should last us 2 seasons pretty easily. But that would be an evaluation after the second season. Do we want to go ahead and put the panels in, or where are we at with them? It comes back to a little bit of how much it gets played on, how it gets treated, and those kind of things. But that was their recommendation, and I guess we felt like as a group that was looking at it, that if we could start out knowing we had those on hand and we're ready to go, that would be a benefit. But yes, back to your question, yes, those will be something we have on hand. We'll need to make sure that they're stored properly, especially if we don't have a barn yet. But we do have the building down there, the softball building down there, and I would assume our people will find a way to store those properly inside there. That would be great. So, but yeah, yes, to your question, that's correct. What else? You all good? No. So seeing that, all in favor of approval, raise your right hand. 7-0. All right, thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Okay, Mr. Elmer,
Good luck.
go get us a
Good luck.
W.
Appreciate that.
They're out.
All yours. All yours.
All right, Yeah, so at this time, we'll step back into our normal agenda. We'll be at item 2, the information report, and we'll look forward to hear what Hagerman's got going on for us.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen of the board. So, another month's passed and we're holding our own with all the heavy rains that come through. As you may recall, the last meeting that we were together, when you were doing your tours, we got the school open, we got the kitchen open, and the parent drop-off pickup lane got all worked out. Signs, fencing, so thanks to Mrs. Murphy and all her staff over there for all the last minute efforts and for the crew that did the cleaning, Graham over the summer and helping us. So we're thankful for that. So got on here some of the past 30-day items, and then some of the same current activities. We're trying to get all the steel set, and with the steel comes the metal decking, and we call it the detailing, welding, putting all the bolts. We have a testing company, Alton Woodsy, that comes and they inspect all of that and issue written reports, so that we know that all that's being done correctly. We're pretty much wrapping up our concrete foundations, and we're going to be moving into some concrete slab on grade work coming up. And where the sawtooth was, we're still working on our load-bearing masonry walls. We're a couple weeks away on those, and then we'll put the steel in there. And then it'll all kind of be on the same schedule. We won't have areas kind of off. And then we can continue on, and some of the next activities will be, putting the metal stud exterior enclosure and getting the roof on, getting brick and windows and all those good things. And obviously a lot of overhead MEP rough ends inside. So we're teed up for all of that. It's going well. We did issue the purchase order to Lee Company for all of the classroom furniture, desk and chairs. And we're still talking with a couple vendors about the office furniture, having meetings on that. So we're getting close on that. And we've been having meetings on the pre-K playground and what that design will look like and what that equipment will be. We just got some emails with more things recently on that. And we're meeting with Mrs. Murphy on those. We can include whoever wants to be. And then we need to continue the design of the playground equipment that'll go in the courtyard. And then it came to our attention just this week that there's a time capsule in the building, which you all knew, but I didn't really know about. And evidently it's in a wall, as I understand it, that gets torn down. So we're going to need to work together and decide where we want to relocate that to, because the way it reads on it, you don't open it just yet. You have to wait several more years. So we want to have good luck. We want to do that. So
No peeking, Mike.
that's it. No. So with that, that's pretty much what I have to report. If anybody have any questions?
Mike, where's your slab on grade? Where are you doing that work?
When are we doing it?
No, where? Is that your courtyard?
Well, no, that is like the floors you walk on in the building.
Oh, okay.
So that's everywhere inside the new addition.
Okay.
I will say there were a few construction workers that came out to the Tunnel of Hope, and the rest of us were like junk because they were in their hats and their bright shirts, and they were getting hugs and high fives from kids. It was really cute. So that's really nice that they did that. They didn't have to take time to do it, but the kids thought it was awesome.
My son was very excited.
I was right across from them. I was just like nothing
Right.
compared to them.
It was
so.
them and the police.
Yeah,
So
I mean, we were all
yeah.
done for after the police and this construction.
I can agree with that too, because after we toured Tuesday, after we toured the area, I walked up the hill and I still had my hard hat and thing on, and there was a class coming out of the playground and they were all waving at me, and I was like, why are you waving? Oh, I look like I'm a construction worker. So, it was great.
Thank you for the work. Thank you.
Mike's still on schedule, right?
We're right there.
I got it. All right.
Right there. Thank you.
Thank you.
That's how you say yes and no.
That's a good answer.
Mike's gonna be in politics. All right, so we did our patron statements already, so we can move past that. So we're gonna move right into personnel.
Down to resignations. Would like to recommend the board approve the resignation of Mary Graham from her position as an elementary aide.
Okay, I have a recommendation to approve the resignation. Do I have a motion for that? From Mr. McCormick, a second from Mrs. Browning. Anybody have any questions regarding the resignation?
What building is she? The
Primary.
There's no other questions. All in favor? 6-0. No leaves, so appointments.
I'd like to approve, or would like to recommend the board approve the hire of the following: Jessica Arvin as an elementary aide, Katucha Aristude as a student translation intern, Barbara Raymond as a substitute bus driver, and Amber Caton as a bus driver.
Okay, I have a recommendation to approve these 4 appointments. I have a motion from Mr. Hedrick, a second from Mr. Cornelius. Anybody have any questions or any need to do these individually? Not all in favor of approval? 6-0. ECA appointments.
So every August, board meeting is our super long list, so sit back and
Get your water. You ready to
I
go?
got my tea. Like the board to approve the following ECA positions: high school assistant cheer coach, Rhiannon Fry and Kelsey Siegel, cheerleading volunteer, Delaney Morgan, elementary volleyball, Ellie Reed, Kelsey Miles, and Kylie Umbre, high school head baseball, Austin Moody, high school head softball, Amy Sandulo, junior high boys tennis, Caden Fender, high school head girls tennis, Jaden Barley, high school assistant girls basketball, Kelly Garland, high school reserve girls basketball, Brittany Chestnut, 9th grade girls basketball, John Howe, 8th grade girls basketball, Scott Lemon, 7th grade girls basketball, Kevin Eubner, 7th grade assistant girls basketball, Matt Clark, 6th grade girls intramural basketball, Chad Niehaus, Randy Browning, Steve Reed, and Bob Murphy. 5th grade girls intramural basketball, Chad Niehaus, Randy Browning, Steve Reed, and Mackenzie Norton. 6th grade travel basketball for girls, Bob Murphy. 5th grade girls travel basketball, Mackenzie Norton. 5th grade girls travel volunteer, Madeline Dalton. 6th grade girls travel basketball volunteers, Steve Reed and Elizabeth Reed. High school assistant boys basketball, Tyler Stoll. High school reserve boys basketball, Joe Furman. High school boys basketball volunteer, Kyle Price. 9th grade boys basketball, Jacob Stevens. 8th grade boys basketball, Bryson Knighty. 7th grade boys basketball, John Roy. 6th grade boys intramural basketball, Brian Englehart and Eric Blackwell. 5th grade boys intramural basketball, Brian Englehart, Eric Blackwell. 6th grade boys travel basketball, Brian Englehart, Eric Blackwell. High school boys basketball volunteer, Brent Shuckman. Volunteer freshman basketball, David Stevens. 7th grade boys soccer, Michael Caravantes. Weight room supervisor, Benjamin Sloan and Austin Stow. They'll split the stipend. Football volunteer, Dylan Grant. Band director, Brandon Burris. Band percussion, Brandon Burris, Patrick Keeley Angermeyer, and Ross Erickson. Band guard, Marley Burris. Vocal music director, Scott Griffith. Elementary music, Mike Gregory and Doug Saido. High school department chairs, Rhonda York, Addison Stoll, Jason Smith, Jamie Halter, Suzanne Hawthorne, Jason Johnston, Sarah Kelso, Doug Euler, Valerie Clark, and Sydney Huff. Senior class sponsor, Jamie Halter and Christine Myers. Junior class sponsor, Ronnie Brown and Eric Andrews. Sophomore class sponsor, Jennifer Peachy. Freshman class sponsor, Megan Knowling. Elementary head teacher for the primary, Kristen McGuire. Intermediate, Amy Batten. Upper, Lisa Emick. And Veal, Rochelle Evans. High school yearbook, Jason Smith. Drama and musical club, Scott Griffith. High school art club, Jennifer Peachy. High school varsity dance, Lily Jones. Competition dance, Callie Ziegler. ICC, or International Club, Lisa Mitleiter. Junior high head, Academic Bowl, Elizabeth Hilt. Junior high Academic Bowl, Jessica Hadley and Delaney Berger. Elementary Academic Bowl, spelling and math. For the upper, we have Emma Cundiff, Kylie Umbre, Bailey Deerwester, Brittany Walls, Joe Roach, Jessica Corpy. At intermediate, we have Megan Riley and Isabella Henderson. Academic competition coordinator for the high school, junior high, Christine Myers, elementary, Joe Roach. High school academic bowl, Jamie Halter, Suzanne Hawthorne, Jaden Barley, Christine Myers, Jennifer Peachy. High school spell bowl, Christine Myers. Elementary, Just Say No Club. At the upper, Kelly Miller and Brittany Walls. High school STEM, Jaden Barley, Joe Furman, and Michelle Tarr. High school science club sponsor, Valerie Clark. Junior high and elementary STEM, one per building. At the junior high, it's Tamara Delisle. Primary, Mackenzie Rourke and Krista Baker will split the stipend. Upper, Lisa Emick and Beal, Florinda Lloyd. High school dual credit, Cindy Wilson, Joe Furman, Patricia Quinteros, Brian Hancock, Lori Hancock, Daphne Holland, Christine Myers, Rhonda York, and Matt Riney. Junior high beta, Kaylin Stoll, Elizabeth Hilt, and Jessica Scarlett. High school beta, Erica Andrews and Sarah Kelso. Tech director for the auditorium, Scott Griffith. High school student council, Ashlyn Kringbaum, Sydney Huff. Junior high student council, Liz Hill, Jessica Scarlett. Elementary student council for grades 4 through 6 at upper, Joe Roach. At the inner, upper Joe Roach, upper Bailey Deerwester, and at Beal, Rochelle Evans and Amy Klein. ROTC rifle team, Ronnie Brown. ROTC drill team, Thomas Sparks, DECA, Lori Hancock. Business Professionals of America, Brian Hancock. Our archery teams at the high school, Ronnie Brown, junior high, Anthony Orender, and at the upper, Ray Arvin and Dana Arvin. Winter music director, Brandon Burris. Winter music assistant director, Patrick Keeley. Winter guard director, Marley Burris. High school head robotics, Matt Riney. High school assistant robotics, Zach Lacey, Michelle Tarr, and Austin Stoll. Junior high head robotics, Tamara Delisle. Junior high assistant robotics, Patty Allen. Washington upper head robotics, Lisa Emick. Washington upper assistant robotics, Caitlin Mincy. And Washington Beetle robotics, Florinda Lloyd.
Wow.
Got a lot of people doing a lot of things, don't we?
That's pretty amazing.
Yeah.
To be honest. All right, I have a recommendation to approve this list of ECA appointments. Do I have a motion for Mr. McCormick? Second from Mr. Miller. Anyone have any questions regarding all of these or any reason to do them individually? Not, all in favor of approval? 6-0. Any other personnel?
No other,
Any old business?
no old business.
Okay, move back into new business.
Would like to recommend the board approve the second reading of the set of Neola policy updates. We had the first reading in July, and we're ready for approval. On approval, we'll have that updated for our Neola website.
Okay, I have a recommendation to approve the second reading or approve the policies, updates. To a motion for that. Mr. Miller, second from Mrs. Browning. Have any questions on these policy updates? Not, all in favor? 6-0. Okay, it's like our non-cert salary schedule.
So I'd like to recommend the board approve just a slight update to the non-cert salary schedule update. It was something that we caught here in the office, but since we've gone to grade level centers, the bus routes, the change to the bus routes, something that the school district has done historically is to provide some level of pay to the bus drivers when we have an e-learning day. And so that minimum rate needed to be updated. And that's all that's being updated with your approval today, is to simply make that change to the minimum e-learning bus rate for our drivers.
Okay, recommendation to approve the update to the e-learning day bus driver pay. Motion from Mr. Hedrick, second from Mr. McCormick. Have any questions on that one? All in favor? 6-0. Okay, we already did 3, so we're up to some work at the youth football.
Yeah.
I'd like to recommend that the board approve the proposal from the Washington Youth Football Organization. The documents are provided there to you on their project and their plan. With Mr. Williams approached us here a couple months ago with the idea, and then things have kind of formalized here in the last couple of weeks. But myself, Larry Cochran, Rhiannon Fry, the Washington Upper Principal, Graham, we've all reviewed everything. We feel like what they're proposing to do to that space, the Washington Upper grounds, are essentially the home of the youth football practice area. They want to make that space bigger and better for all their teams. You can see there, they're going to remove the fence and add a new fence, remove some trees and brush, do some excavating, I think add a water line. They're covering all the costs. And the improvements don't impact anything in terms of how we use that space for school, benefits the youth football, which basically all of our students. So again, recommending that the board approve the okay of this, and we'll give them the okay to move forward with the project.
Okay, I have a recommendation to approve this project for the youth football fields. I have a motion for that, Mr. McCormick. Second from Mrs. Browning. We'll open it up to questions. I will make the comment, just to be clear, this is nothing from our budget at all. As far as the school, this is all a volunteer thing, and is very much appreciated. But as we talked about, we've got a lot of things we need to spend our budget on, and I just want to be clear on that. Anybody else have any questions on what?
I don't have a question. Oh, sorry, I just had a comment. It was interesting that our fence wasn't on the property line.
Goes back to when those properties were purchased before my time.
Quite a bit, actually.
Well,
I
I mean-
remember when the fence moved, when I was in elementary school, when those houses were torn down and.
well, I said it was a trailer park.
Yeah.
And it was removed and we expanded and I know the principal at the time, John Gray, brought up the idea of putting a fence around for security, and that was taboo. That made what the comment I
It's
think
not a
was gonna
prison, right?
make it look like a prison.
Right.
And then one of the teachers on the south end of the building, someone slipped in during the day and got into her purse and stole some stuff. And all of a sudden it was, oh yeah, we probably do need something to slow them down a little bit. So I don't remember exactly when the fence was put. I don't know if that was part of the project in 1991, but it got done.
Yeah, it's neither here nor there, but I just found it interesting. It wasn't on the property line.
I had a question. So legality wise, do we need to do anything with our lawyers or anything to say, make sure that they, no expenses come back on us or anything while they're doing this, or is that a big deal, or?
Like in terms of if something,
Yeah, I don't know. So they start and then they run out of money and yeah, I guess they're done, right?
Okay, I'm trying to think of the word. Non-identified or
Something like that.
Indemnified.
I don't know.
Maybe
Do we need that?
maybe just blow that by, Clay.
yeah,
Yeah.
Is there something kind of boilerplate that? I deal with these from time to time on other things. It protects everybody. It's not a we don't trust you or whatever. It just lays it all out pretty clearly. I think that's a
check into that, yeah.
fair.
Yeah.
I mean, we're gonna use it during the day for playground stuff and it'd be
Right.
us, I guess. Is there an inspection from the insurance people or communication, whoever writes the policy? It's like, okay, we suggest a little here, a little tweak of this or that to cover yourselves, but
I think we could go ahead and approve this so it can move forward contingent on, just checking that.
Mhm.
Mr. Frank, making sure that's taken care of. Would that be good with everybody?
Yeah.
And I'll just again go and say, what a great community we live in.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
You know, the school, we always say we want to do this. We see, everybody sees things that needs done or needs addressed. And, you know, the sad part is, reality part is it all comes down to money and what money you have to do things. And when community members step up and fill that void, man, it's a win-win for everybody. So we thank you. And we thank the people who are in our community that's going to be doing the work. It helps them. And at the end of the day, we get, you know, a much better product for everybody. So thanks.
All right, you made a little adjustment to what the motion was, Amanda, or whatever, contingent on. Mr.
Oh, yes, yeah, I have that, yeah.
All right, all in favor of approval? Caught Kyle with his cup in his hand.
Still here for whatever.
6-0, attaboy. All right. Looks like, the Microelectronics Academy resolution.
I'd like to recommend the board approve the Microelectronics Academy resolution, which is simply, the resolution simply says that we agree to participate in the academy and share our costs. It speaks to Ivy Tech Bloomington covering about 60% of the total cost. The participating schools, which now is up to like 7 schools, Barry, Bloomfield, Eastern Green, Lagodi, Shoals, Washington. We split the remaining costs. It essentially comes down to a per student cost. Lagodi is the employer of the teacher, so they will be invoicing us our share quarterly. And so we'll send payment to Lagodi. That will be seen in the claims report.
All right, I have a recommendation to approve the Microelectronics Academy resolution. To have a motion for that. Mr. Hedrick, second by Mr. Miller. Getting tired, guys. We've been here a while, sorry. All in favor of approval?
Wait a minute. I would like to ask a question.
Yep.
Are these costs pretty static? In other words, we're not gonna be any big surprises during the year?
No, I mean, it's.
Everything, I mean, I just wanted to ask.
Salary and benefits, so we have an idea that he sent out. I don't think that's included in the information that you have, but it's a per student cost, so I'd share it with Carrie what to expect. Our
Okay,
costs.
I just, as a rent, it's like, is there any chance that some surprise could come
No.
along? Okay.
Not
Sorry.
this year, it's a year-to-year thing,
Yeah.
we'll sit back.
Well,
down
yeah, I'm
next
thinking during
summer.
the course of the year, yeah. Yeah. Okay, sorry, thank you.
Anybody else? I forgot to ask that too. Slipping as we go along here. All in favor of approval? 6-0. All right, any other new business?
No other.
Anybody wish to speak to us about non-agenda topics? No one signed up. All right, we're gonna move into our information items, Mr. Frank.
Yeah, a couple items listed there in the agenda. Our budget hearing for the 27 budget will be on September 1st at noon here in the boardroom. The September regular board meeting will be on September 17th at 7 o'clock. Just want to make mention, want to thank Tori for organizing what I'm going to call our Kids at Hope wall. It was kind of an inspiration of seeing something similar in Arizona when we did some school visits at Kids at Hope schools. Want to thank Sean Gray for doing all the placement of the pictures, but the idea is that, you know, maybe a few times each year we'll switch out the pictures and celebrate our kids, our staff, and our school community with all the great things that are going on here at Washington Community Schools.
Yeah, you know, those pictures are the product of a lot of community folks that showed up for those Tunnel of Hope days too, and that was really a blessing to see and great, even though we were all outshined by the construction guys.
Yeah.
All right, does anybody else have anything they'd like to bring to the attention of the board this evening?
I would just like to say, condolences to the Riney family. Mrs. Pat Riney taught 32 years in our corporation. I was fortunate enough to teach alongside with her at Lena Dunn, and just a great woman, a great leader. And she's going to be missed, and our prayers are with the Riney family during this time. So,
Also, Mr. Walker.
Yeah.
Roy Walker taught forever. I don't know the number of years, but same week or within 2 weeks of each other.
Really?
I didn't know.
Yeah, he was here.
Tennis coach.
Yeah, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. I did a couple tennis
First
games.
base, that's what I had Mr. Walker for.
All right.
did you say Mr. Walker too? Yeah.
Well,
Walker,
Walker
yeah,
also,
Walker,
a few months- a couple months ago, yeah.
Had a lot here recently. Thinking of all of them.
All right, if nothing else, I'd entertain a motion to adjourn. Mr. Miller, second from Mr. Hedrick, all in favor? 6-0, meeting adjourned. Thank you, folks.
I just